Today, I'm going to show you how to use Ableton. So this is a video for beginners and anyone that came from other program to Ableton, or if you're just starting from this in Ableton. And yeah, so first of all, I'm just going to show you more or less the interface of the program. I'm going to be as short as I can be in explaining it. And yeah, so I think Ableton, the first time you put it up, will be in this view. So this is called the session view. So in the session view, you can write stuff, like you can double click this and you will get a MIDI clip and put samples in audio tracks, but you are not going to be able to translate that to the arrangement view. Why? Because the arrangement view and the session view are two completely different things. They're different, they don't interact within each other, they have nothing to do within each other. So just have that in mind, that if you're going to write on the session view, you have to, let's say you have some MIDI clip right here, you have to do this, like select from the last clip you have, then select them all while holding shift, and then drag them, tab, and there you go, you have them right there. So that's if you want to write in the session view. Other thing is that I think that Ableton starts this way without absolutely nothing. So I would recommend you to press the I/O button that will introduce inputs and outputs. These are for you to map audio tracks to audio tracks, or MIDI tracks to audio tracks, and so on. So the first lane here on audio tracks are just from audio, like it's an input. It means from what audio track are you receiving audio. Do you want the button is the audio to. This means to what sending audio. As you can see, both audio tracks are not receiving any input at all. I'm not mapping them or routing them to another thing. And as you can see, it says audio to master because I'm sending stuff to the master. Like by default, it's going to send it to the master. Or if you're doing groups, it's going to, and you open a new audio track within a group, it's going to be automatically mapped to the group. So it's going to send it to the group, and then the group is going to send it to the master. And yeah, and the MIDI section we have MIDI from. This means from where is receiving MIDI. And yeah, if you have like, I don't know, an ARP in one MIDI, then you like, let's say if you have an ARP in MIDI 3, you would have you want that same ARP in MIDI 4, but you're using on an arpeggiator, and you want the MIDI of the arpeggiator, then you would just map it to MIDI 3 and then just record it. By the way, if you want to record, this button in Ableton, so that will enable the record function. Also, just arm the track. That's what this button does. Want to record MIDI, just arm the track and press record and start playing with your MIDI keyboard or with your own keyboard. Because in Ableton we have also this button here, and it will let you use your computer keyboard as a MIDI keyboard. Yeah, you can press the button, I don't know, start pressing random chords in your computer keyboard, and it will work absolutely fine. And yeah, other thing in Ableton that is really easy to do is mapping. I don't know, you have like a MIDI controller and you have knobs that you want to map, I don't know, to a certain knob in Ableton. So you just press like MIDI, and then just, I don't know, let's like get in something to actually modulate. And then let's say you want to modulate rate, so you have to press it and then move the key or knob in your MIDI keyboard, map it. Obviously I cannot do this because I have not connected my MIDI controller. So yeah. Same way for keys in your controller, or buttons in your controller, just Command or Control K, Command or Control M for MIDI. For these are just if you want to, I don't know, map the on-off button from the channel 4 to, I don't know, this random key I've pressed. Then press here, what do you want to automate, then press the button you wanted to activate it, and then just get out of the menu by doing that, or Control Command key, and then You press the button and it's going to absolutely do that. And I'm going to erase this. I don't need it. Other thing I would recommend you to do, press the send return buttons. This will enable the future tracks. These are important because if you want like a complete reverb for all the project, then you can send random pieces of audio like this to the reverb that you have by default, and the same thing for the delay and so on for the return tracks you have. To open return tracks, you just have to right click sort return track, or you just follow the command that is here, that is Command Alt T or Control Alt T in Windows, and yeah, that will work absolutely fine. And other button that you should activate is the M here, that is from the mixer. So if you're coming from FL Studio, this might be a bit different, because in FL Studio I know you have like this step sequencer where you put all your samples and stuff, and then there is the mixer. But from the step sequencer, you'll have to select a channel in the mixer, and yeah, so in Ableton you don't have that. In Ableton directly you have literally the option to just have a mixer channel within every track, and yeah, so every single track has its own volume knob and things, so there's no thing like mapping stuff, and yeah, pretty much that's it. It's really easy to use once you get to understand it, and I hope it was a pretty decent video. And also just quick stuff, this is the browser, and basically if you don't want it every time, you just press this triangle here, disappears and appears, then you have here the collections. These are stuff, I think they would appear like with the color, name them with the color, so you can rename them. As you can see, I have renamed them, and yeah. How do you select the samples? Well, you have to go to that, let's say, and put it in samples. Let's say you just press the number key, and okay, if you want to add a folder here. Let's say I want to add my stuff in here, so I already have it in here, so I'm not going to add it, but you just select like the folder you want to have here, and that's it. This is your user library. If you have any presets that you have done yourself, here will be by the name of the plugin or instrument you were using, or here are going to be your packs, like Ableton gives you stuff when you buy Ableton Live, and that's it. And here are going to be samples from Ableton, clips from Ableton, the plugins of yourself. Talking about plugins, this is something that I believe only Windows users have to do, that is actually assign a custom folder for the plugins. So yeah, and pretty much Max for Live instruments. So if you have Ableton, I believe comes with some Max for Live stuff, plus what you can download in the pack section, audio effects that are the effects from Ableton, instruments from Ableton, and drums that come with Ableton. And yeah, sounds from Ableton, everything really easy. Other thing you would have to know is that in these drop menus, you have the commands for every single thing that you want to. So if you want to memorize them, here are them. And for preferences, just for you to know what everything does, look and feel is exactly what it says. Look and feel. You have theme to destroy eyes with light, or dark to calm your existence, because light is too flashy. Then you have audio, where you can select like where do you want the audio to come out to, sample, buffer size. I would recommend to put it as low as your CPU can handle, but I have it as high as I can, because when my projects get really huge, I will have some CPU issues. By putting in 2048 kinda works around. By the way, to put the samples on the correct sample amount, I would recommend you to put like a test tone, like that. So put it to 80%, I guess. With the test tone, go trying different buffer size until you don't hear any clicks at all, or it does not do anything weird with the test tone. And yeah, 12 folders where you can set your template. Let's say if you already have something in which you're already comfortable with, so you can recreate it in Ableton and save it. By the way, if you want to create groups, just select the tracks you want to create groups with, and right click and group tracks, or with the command Control G or Command G. This is also something new from Ableton 10, that you can group within groups within groups within groups. and so on. Because I don't know what's the limit on that. As you can see, I think we did more than 10 groups within groups within groups, so that's more than enough. This thing, media link, here is where you will. So once you connect it to your computer, it's going to recognize it, the drivers for it. It might put one of it if it's one of the ones Ableton recognizes, or if not, don't worry. And yeah, pretty much that's it. And as you can see, Ableton is a really easy program to use, and it's not that complex. It just looks complex and not that user-friendly, but it's really not that difficult to understand at first. So that was the video for today. And also, if you have any other questions, you don't want to wait until I make another video and stuff, you could just press this triangle right here, and wherever you hover your mouse, it will tell you what it does. This also means that if you have it on plugins like this, it will tell you what it does and stuff. This only works with stock stuff from Ableton, so don't try to use it like with plugins on Facebook. That's not going to work. And yeah, so that, and this triangle right here is to toggle this thing, but you can double click here and we'll do the same thing. And pretty much that.